Smith Show here with you over the airways of ESPN Radio and ESPN News. 250 plus markets across the United States of America, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM Channel 80, plus ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airwaves of ESPN News. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. The Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. That's Credit Karma, K-A-R-M-A. Get knowing. Plus, need seats to a game? Download the Vivid Seats app and enter promo code CHAMPS at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Don't buy just any seat. Get a Vivid Seat. Welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Lots of stuff to get into. Got into a few things. The national championship game tonight, Texas Tech, Virginia. I'm picking Texas Tech. Got into a little bit about Zion Williamson and the allegations made by Michael Avenatti, the attorney for porn star Stormy Daniels, and a lawsuit case against the president, Donald Trump, at the time, along with Michael Cohen, his lawyer. We got into that a little bit. I talked about that. And I will continue to talk about those things, and I'll continue to take your calls on all of those things. But I got a whole bunch of other stuff to get into, so I'm just going to go through it relatively quickly. Antonio Brown, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers for the Oakland Raiders, came out and said some of the things, to be quite honest with you, that I thought were completely and totally uncalled for. It really, really was. He has departed from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He maneuvered his way out of there because he wanted to get more money, and he didn't want to be in a situation where he didn't have any guaranteed dollars coming his way. And so what he did was essentially called out Juju Smith-Schuster. Called out Juju Smith-Schuster because Juju Smith-Schuster is a 22-year-old receiver. He's going to be a number one receiver in the game. Never said a negative word about Antonio Brown. Never said a negative word about Antonio Brown. But Antonio Brown got at him when he was complimentary about the leader that Big Ben Roethlisberger was, his quarterback, and how he was looking forward to this upcoming season playing with him. And Antonio Brown goes on Twitter yesterday and continues. He says, emotion. Boy fumbled the whole postseason in the biggest game of the year. Everyone went blind, too busy making guys famous. Not enough reality these days. By the way, check the list. I forgot exactly why he felt the need to send Juju Smith-Schuster that that tweet rather, but it was clearly disrespectful. And Juju Smith-Schuster, I don't have the tweet in front of me, but to paraphrase, he was like, damn shame. You support a brother and he comes at you like that. What did you say, Kat? I'm talking to my producer here. The bottom line is that these are the kind of things that we're talking about here. And it leaves you somewhat flabbergasted, to say the least. I must admit. It really, really does. You just find yourself shaking your head at some of the stuff that Antonio Brown finds himself in. Because it really, really doesn't make any sense for him to find himself in these situations. You wanted to get out of Pittsburgh. You went from having no guaranteed dollars under the same contract to getting out of Pittsburgh and having $30 million in guarantees. So he said that quote that I just read to y'all about Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju Smith-Schuster responded, all I ever did was show that man love and respect from the moment I got into the league. I was genuinely happy for him, too, when he got traded to Oakland with a big contract. And now he takes shots at me on social media. Crazy how big that ego got to be to take shots at people who show you love. Shaking my head. That's what Antonio Brown said. I'm sorry, that Juju Smith said in response to Antonio Brown. And as a result, you got guys like Houston Texans safety Reed. I think it's Justin Reed. Okay? That's saying he can't wait. Justin Reed, that's it. He said, I respect his game, talking about Antonio Brown, but I can't wait to smash this dude. No need for that. Eric Weddle, formerly of the Baltimore Ravens, no need for that. Showing true colors right now. No respect for this dude. That's what he said. And you have no doubt there's other players in the National Football League who feel the same way. Antonio Brown's the best receiver in football as far as I'm concerned. Him and Julio Jones are the two best receivers in all of football. But the reality is that you know what? What are you going to do if Derek Carr can't get you the football? What you going to do if you don't like the play calling of John Gruden? What you going to do? Who you going to call out next? I personally love Antonio Brown, the player. I actually like him as a person, but I think that he's been wrong this whole offseason. And I think his behavior is completely uncalled for. I really do. And in the interest of full disclosure, I texted him and told him that. It's ridiculous. Juju Smith-Schuster's 22 years old. He has never said a negative word about Antonio Brown. Ever. Ever. I've interviewed him several times. He has never said a negative word about Antonio Brown. I actually think Juju Smith-Schuster's going to end up having a better season than Antonio Brown because Antonio Brown doesn't have Big Ben throwing him the football anymore, and I don't think Derek Carr is Big Ben Roethlisberger. Derek Carr is pretty damn good. Derek Carr has completed 62.8% of his passes for his career. Completed nearly 69% last season, threw for over 4,000 yards, threw 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. But I think when you look at Derek Carr's career, a 32-46 record overall as a quarterback, he knows how to pad his numbers, but does he know how to win? He's never played in the postseason, got hurt his MVP caliber year when he went 12-3 as a starter and got hurt in the second to last game of the season. I don't know if Derek Carr is going to get it done. I'm hopeful, but I don't know if he's going to get it done. And what's Antonio Brown going to do then? So it's something worth considering. 888-SAY-ESPN is 888-729-3776. Something else I wanted to get to. Before I do that, I'll give you a side nugget, some information I've come across. I'm told Kyrie Irving will grant the Lakers an interview in the summer. The Lakers will have an opportunity to get Kyrie Irving to come to L.A. I didn't say he's coming to L.A. I did not say that. I don't know what he's going to do. But during his free agent tour, I'm told he's going to give the Lakers an interview, which, by the way, is very big news because LeBron James is already there for the next 3 years. And this man left Cleveland because he didn't want to play with LeBron James. So the fact that, from what I'm being told, that he's willing to give the Lakers an interview, if he's willing to spend time and talk to the Lakers and give it consideration, that's a long way from the Kyrie Irving that left Cleveland and left LeBron in Cleveland. So that's point number 2. Point number 3. All these reports about Kevin Durant being a done deal, it's not a done deal. I don't care what promises people are saying Kevin Durant has made. Ain't nothing done. Excuse the lack of grammar. I'm exercising a double negative for effect and accentuation. Ain't nothing guaranteed with Kevin Durant until it's done. I don't give a damn what Kevin Durant says he's going to do. Until it's done, it ain't done. I told you I once had somebody close to Kevin Durant said, he's a sensitive dude, good dude, beautiful brother, sensitive dude. He's the kind of dude that can get caught up in emotions. He'll make a decision, and then when it's time, he might change his mind. That's what they said. Ain't done till it's done. So everybody that think he and Kyrie are coming to New York, well, guess what? If it was a foregone conclusion, Kyrie coming to New York, why are the Lakers expecting to have an opportunity to sit down with him? Because that's what I'm being told. The Lakers are expecting to have an opportunity to sit down with Kyrie Irving this summer. Why is that? And by the way, speaking of this, staying with the Lakers for a second, I want to state this. And particularly to the LA listeners at 710 ESPN LA. I don't give a damn what I know about the Lakers. I don't know more than John Ireland. I would strongly advise anybody who's listening to anything about the Lakers, listen to my man, my buddy John Ireland, who works right here at 710 ESPN LA, which is where I'm at for the next couple of days. Man's got an afternoon drive show here in LA, and the man calls every Lakers game. I get my information, I hear what I hear. No question about it. I would encourage you to listen to John Ireland. Respect that man. Profoundly so, I might add. But I say all of that to say this to you. Some things people may choose to touch on, some people may not. I have nothing against Rob Pelinka, the general manager for the Los Angeles Lakers. Always been nice to me. We've always had a good relationship. I love Kobe. That's my brother. He speaks to the brilliance of Rob Pelinka. I'm going to listen, because Kobe don't suffer fools. But I'm here to tell you something. Lakers have got to get either somebody that's experienced with Magic and Rob Pelinka, or they have to replace Rob Pelinka. And I would prefer the former. Because I think Rob Pelinka could do some special things for this Lakers organization. I think that Magic can as well. But they're both novices. And you cannot have two novices, meaning guys that just started at their jobs. No prior experience until having this job. You cannot have two guys in the LA market in those positions with nobody with experience in that clique and flourish against the Clippers in LA. It cannot happen. The Clippers have a owner with over $30 to $40 billion in Steve Ballmer. Lawrence Frank, your VP of basketball operations, was a head coach in the NBA for years and an assistant as well. This man knows his basketball and knows talent and is very well connected, along with the people that he has with him. You have an exceptional coach, a candidate for coach of the year, arguably the coach of the year in some people's mind, in Doc Rivers, who's a champion, by the way. I mean, damn it, even their PR department is big time. Let me tell you something about the Clippers. You better not ignore them. You better not ignore them. Not only do I think Kawhi might end up there, I think he might have company. A la Kevin Durant. I wouldn't put it past him. I'm telling y'all right now, it would be a mistake to underestimate the Clippers. And because of that, particularly with the great Jerry West having the ear of the billionaire owner, it makes it that much more pivotal that Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson get help. You don't get help, they going down. You heard what I said. 888-ESPN, it's 888-729-3776. Last but not least, before I get back to the phones, Paul Pierce, the truth. A champion with the Boston Celtics, an all-star, a future Hall of Famer, a basketball analyst for ESPN who does a great job for us. Got a lot of love for Paul Pierce and the job that he does. But he said something that he should not have said. And it was pertaining to a comparison made between him and Dwyane Wade, who, by the way, last game in Miami is tomorrow night, where I was supposed to be before I had prior commitments, before I had commitments that I had to honor. I'm sorry. This is what Paul Pierce had to say about those comparisons. Listen to this.
That's easy. I can say that off the bat. That's me. If you give me Shaq, if you give me LeBron,
he did. Call it big three.
We got that late, but like early in my career.
I mean, what are you doing right now?
If you give me these guys early in my career.
Let me ask you this. What would have been a perfect time for you, Paul? Let's make sure we get this right.
When I was 24 years old,
okay.
You give me Shaq. When I'm 24, 25, you give me LeBron and Bosh. I'll be sitting on 5 or 6 championships. Easy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. How can I peel this apart in the most respectful way imaginable? I'm going to try. And if I don't, Paul Pierce, my apologies to you. But that was some blasphemous stuff came out of your mouth. Now, Paul Pierce, a champion that went to 2 finals, wants to sit up there and say, as a talent, I believe I was better than Dwyane Wade. I have no issue with that. Dwyane Wade was a 2-guard. Paul Pierce was a small forward, basically. Paul Pierce was a closer. Paul Pierce had a set shot, jump shot. Paul Pierce was a scoring machine, at least for 3 years in his career. Career 19-point per game scorer. Clearly a Hall of Famer, no doubt. But you were no Dwyane Wade. Let's just pump the brakes on this. Okay? Now I'm going to throw y'all some numbers just to get it out the way. It's not really my position, but I'm just going to throw it out the way. Paul Pierce 1 championship, Dwyane Wade 3 championships. Paul Pierce 1 championship in 19 years, Dwyane Wade 3 championships in 16 years. Playoffs played, Paul Pierce 14 times, Dwyane Wade 13 times. 14 times in 19 years, 13 times in 16 years. Dwyane Wade, percentage-wise, better. All-Star games. Paul Pierce, 10. Dwyane Wade, 13. Finals MVP, both of them had one. All-NBA first team, Dwyane Wade, twice. Paul Pierce, never. All-NBA teams, Dwyane Wade, 8. Paul Pierce, 4. All defensive teams, Dwyane Wade, 3 times. Paul Pierce, never. Scoring leader, scoring champion, Dwyane Wade once. Paul Pierce, never. Stats per game, Dwyane Wade, 22 a game, more than Paul Pierce, 22 to 19. Paul Pierce barely averaged more rebounds. Dwyane Wade averaged more assists. Both were even in steals. Basically, Dwyane Wade is at 1.5, Paul Pierce at 1.3. Both were even in blocks as well. Dwyane Wade 0.0, 0.8, Paul Pierce 0.6. Paul Pierce finishes his career with more total points, played 3 more seasons. More total rebounds, played 3 more seasons. Less assists, even in steals, basically. Actually, Paul Pierce had about 100 more assists, 130 more assists. Dwyane Wade had more blocks. Paul Pierce played 291 more games than Dwyane Wade. Here's the deal. If Paul Pierce said to me, I think I was a better player than Dwyane Wade, meaning a better talent as a scorer or whatever, I wouldn't agree with him, but I wouldn't be offended by it. I wouldn't be. What I would tell you, however, is this. Where Paul Pierce was absolutely blasphemous, is to say his career was better. You did not have a better career. It's 2 different categories. You did not have a better career than Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade won more titles. Even though Paul Pierce deserved Finals MVP, he wasn't what Dwyane Wade was against Dallas in those Final 4 games in the NBA Finals back in 2006. Paul Pierce lucked up by Danny Ainge being gift-wrapped Kevin Garnett by Kevin McHale, who was then an executive with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dwyane Wade recruited LeBron and Bosh to Miami. When we talk about off guards, we talk about MJ. We talk about Kobe. Now we're talking about Harden. D. Wade is in that discussion. Over a 10-year period, there was an argument that was being made as to whether or not D. Wade was one of the top 5 players in all of basketball. Paul Pierce was never a part of that discussion, ever. He was an all-star. He was a closer. He's a Hall of Famer. Somebody who demands a sincere respect. The truth shall make you free. And he certainly did it. But he ain't telling the truth here. Paul Pierce was many things. And a champion. Big moments never fazed him. He was special. He was special offensively. He wasn't special defensively. Not like D. Wade was. And he wasn't special over the length of period of time. There was a time, 10 years, 7 or 8 of those years, D. Wade was in the discussion. Top 5, top 10 player in the game. That wasn't Paul Pierce. So I'm just saying all of that to say, let's pump the brakes. And oh, by the way, congratulations to the Vlade Divacs of the world for being in the Basketball Hall of Fame, getting nominated for the Basketball Hall of Fame. Here's my problem with it. I'm starting to lose faith in the Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, there are guys that are going to the Hall of Fame because of what they did in Europe, in concert with what they ultimately did in the NBA or college basketball. I got news for you. There should be a Hall of Fame for the NBA. Because some of these guys that are in the Hall of Fame would never be in the Hall of Fame if it was just based on their NBA career. Chris Webber is going to the Hall of Fame someday. And Chris Webber deserves it because of the Fab Five. and because of numbers. But when you look at some of the Hall of Famers and you take away college and you just look at his NBA game in terms of numbers, well, there's a question mark there. I'd still put him in. But I never got over the fact that the basketball was like a damn hot potato in the Western Conference Finals with Sacramento in 2002 when you're going up against the Lakers in Game 5. He wanted no parts of that moment. Just like Mark Jackson joked about John Starks having to go through the free throw line against Indiana in the playoffs, and they said they looked at John Starks. John Starks wanted no part of those free throws when Reggie Miller was taunting him. I don't care about Reggie Miller's lack of championships. That brother was a closer. He was deadly. And you put the ball in his hands when it was time, he'd deliver. Cats like that, you don't teach it. I know what I see. And some of these guys are getting the Hall of Famer. Vlade Divac's a Hall of Famer because he's from Europe and what he means to basketball and what he did in basketball. There's nothing about Vlade Divac's NBA career that warrants Hall of Fame. Let's just call it what it is. But I respect him. And congratulations to him. Manu Ginobili, winner, champion. So I got no problems with him. But numbers-wise, some people will look at him and say no. NBA-wise, but what he did coming over from Europe and championships and all the little things that he did, I mean, please. Numbers go out the window because Dennis Rodman didn't have him when it came to points. He was a rebounding demon and a defensive wizard. But I'm just saying this meshing of the Basketball Hall of Fame, I don't like the Basketball Hall of Fame. Because I think that there should be a category for NBA. There are guys that are in the NBA that are in the Basketball Hall of Fame and based solely on their NBA careers have no business in there. If the NBA is the greatest basketball league in the world and you didn't perform well on this level, why should you be in the same hall that has Michael and Magic and Bird and Isaiah and Julius Erving and all of these boys in there? Why should you be in there? And Shaq and AI and all these. Why should you be in there if you didn't play on that near that kind of level in the NBA? But that's just me. I might be being too controversial right now. I guess that's not good, Steve. Because after all, I don't have content. There's no substance to what I'm saying. I'm just loud. Don't you listen to my critics? I'm just loud. I didn't cover the NBA for the past 25 years. I wasn't a beat writer for 15 years. I didn't break more stories in 1 year than most people did in their careers. I didn't do those things. No, I'm just loud. I didn't do internships that were unpaid. I didn't work my way up and get promoted 11 times. No, I didn't do those things. I'm just talking. So what do I know? What do I know? 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. I don't have a resume. I'm just on the air. Privileged that ESPN would find it within their good old heart to give me a job. Because all of these people out there deserve it, but not me. Okay. That's how it goes. 888-SAY-ESPN. Back to your calls in a minute. You listen live to Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. When you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes, do you? You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes, set of screening questions based on your job requirements, then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.